You have made it to our virtual Toastmaster meeting. That was the first important step. And now that you're here, I want to take a few minutes to go over some things that you might want to know about Zoom that can make using this as a Toastmaster more effective and hopefully a little bit easier. I want to start by talking about managing your sound. Everyone was brought in with their microphones turned off or on mute. You will stay muted unless you actively click on your microphone icon that you see in the lower corner of your screen. If you keep your mute on, if your kids are running around and making noise, if there's a dog barking in the background, traffic, whatever, don't worry, we won't hear it. You will just turn it on when it's time to speak. And if you're using a phone or a tablet, your mute icon is going to look something a little more like this. The other way that we can communicate while we're here in our meeting is the chat feature. You click on the chat button on your window. If you're using a phone, you may need to go into the participants list and then select the chat feature. Once you do that though, you will be able to either send a message to everyone in the chat that everyone can see at the same time, or you can select to send a message to someone privately. Now you may want to do this if you are giving someone feedback on their speech and you just want them to see it and not the whole group. It's a great way to replace those little slips of paper that we pass around the club and still get people a little individual feedback on how you thought they did with the message that they presented. Moving on from sound, the next important thing to look at is, well, what people look at. As you came in, we'd had my video turned on, had your cameras turned on if you have them, and you showed up in speaker view. In this view, one person gets the majority of the screen, and the others are shown on a little bar across the top or down the side. If you're on a phone, you really default to this, and it's about the easiest way that you can view things on your phone. If you are just watching a speaker, this is a great way to focus on the speaker. If you're speaking though, you may want to switch to the gallery view that's pointed out with the arrow here. Gallery view will turn on all of the video at the same time and let you see it. Now as a speaker, this can be helpful. Sometimes you want to see how your audience is responding to you. In gallery view, you can scan through faces and see what people are doing. Now, because speakers can do this, if you're just in the audience, I would recommend, if you're paying attention, keep your video on so that they can see your response. If you need to take the dog out or the kids come running up and need lunch desperately, whatever it may be, we're all at home, it happens, you may consider turning your video off so that you don't become a distraction to the speaker and other club members with what's going on around and behind you. We also get to deal with a few roles in the club a little bit differently. One of those is the timer. When I thought about how to do the timing role effectively, I started out with 4 sheets of paper. And I thought I could just hold each of these pages up as I went through. White for under 5 minutes. And once we get to 5 minutes, hold this up. For a blue or a green, repeat with a yellow, red. But that got rather unwieldy really quickly, and it meant I had to hold my arms at attention for 7 or 7.5 minutes while someone spoke. Instead, I landed on the idea of cutting out a small piece of paper and just scribbling on it about 1 inch wide with highlighter, folding it over, and then slipping it over the top of my computer so that I could slide it across my camera as I went. And this is what the speaker will end up seeing. When it hits red, the video will simply go red. And so if they're in gallery view, it makes it easy to see one of the cameras is suddenly showing a big block of red. That means it's time to stop. Now, your participant list is a way that you can get to the method that Toastmasters recommended for the timers. When you open up the participants, you can select a yes, you can come to more, and you can select a thumbs up or a thumbs down icon that's kind of blue, and you can select no. Now, The challenge with this for a timer is first, you have to let all the speakers know in advance this is how you'll be timing them so that they can turn their participant list on, but then they have to put that someplace where it's very visible to them and they can see what's happening. The other challenge is if someone is using their phone, it's almost impossible to see the video, see what's going on in the meeting, and watch the participant list at the same time because it moves between screens. This is why I landed on the paper and the camera option as a little more effective. But if you don't have a camera and you want to do the speaker role, just let everyone know in advance that you'll be doing those gestures. A yes, a thumbs up or thumbs down as long as it's blue, and a no when the time's up. Then the final role that's going to take a little modification is the vote counter. To cast your votes, you can just use that chat function. And just like you did to send messages to a speaker, you can select the vote counter, message them privately with a message something like this: best speaker, Kevin Taylor, and just send that off. That'll give the vote counter a list of votes that they can look at, and they can tally those and come up with the results for the meeting. I hope these ideas have given you something to help make Toastmaster meetings more enjoyable and more effective while we're all here virtually. One last bit of advice, quick tip. You may or may not have seen the video. While you're on a video conference, pants are optional, but if you choose not to wear them, make sure you turn your camera off before you stand up or move it around. Mr. Toastmaster.